Hi everyone, Nadine Briggs here from Simply Social Kids. I wanted to talk to you about something that sometimes happens when kids start to find new friendships, sort of a pitfall that I want you to be aware of because we can help them work through this particular pitfall. So let me explain. What happens is parents call us or they contact us and they want to learn about our program and we want to learn about their child or their teen. So we ask questions about what their social struggles are, what their interests are, kind of what kind of person are they, and where do we think that they would fit into our program. If they sound like the type of kid that we work with, because we have a very niche population that we work with. So we work with kids with mild to moderate social challenges, which means we get a lot of kids who have ADHD, high functioning autism, they have anxiety, pretty much all of them have anxiety. And they're just not able to make social connections in their school or their communities for whatever reason. So those are the kids that we work with. So we do an intake with them, and then we schedule a trial. More often than not, after that particular child or teen does the trial, then they want to enroll in the program. It's a pretty fun program. So anyway, they come to the first group, and sometimes they start to gravitate toward one or two different people in the group. There might be some connections that start to be made, which isn't that what we're all looking for, right? That's what we want. We have this child who's really motivated, they may be lonely, and they want to have that connection with somebody, and we're starting to get it within the group. So where it can derail, though, is something that to be aware of, so we need to kind of help them through this, is when we try to friend connect them outside of the program. And the way we do that is we start to just privately chat with them. If we're in, online, in person, we can talk to them, off on the side, but just privately chat with them and say, hey, do you think you'd want to hang out with this person sometime? And then we would ask the other person, would you want to hang out with that person sometime? And then we would encourage them to ask the same question to the other person. Would you want to hang out sometime? Without really having like a specific date or time or anything like that, just kind of throw out like a feeler to see if they want to hang out. And then they decide what kind of information would they feel comfortable sharing. Some people share like their Discord gamer tags, or they might share their cell number, where they start out the relationship kind of really, small interactions. So maybe they just shoot over a meme to them, or maybe a funny YouTube video they saw, or maybe they're going to play, some Animal Crossing together or something like that. So it's a low commitment type of a thing for them to get together kind of in this initial interaction. So there comes a point, though, where you want to kind of have them get together outside of the group in a more substantive way, right? So if they happen to live locally, we'll want them to maybe meet in a public place, for example. Like, let's say, if COVID allows, with the restrictions being whatever they are in your area, let's say they can go maybe do some miniature golf and grab an ice cream. Okay, not everybody can do that because we do have kids in multiple states and also in Canada. So could be the friend they meet up with might only be able to meet with them online and not in person. But anyway, rather than at each other's houses, that's a little bit too much pressure, almost a little too much time. So you really want to kind of have an outside place where you go, a public place where you go, you spend your time, and you can leave when you're ready, right? You don't feel like you need to stay there for a couple hours. When this particular step happens, though, a lot of the stuff that has happened to them in the past kind of resurfaces, and there's a lot of anxiety around them getting together because they've had past experiences that didn't go well. Maybe they had friends or people that bullied them, or friends that rejected them and said they didn't want to be friends anymore. They come with some baggage sometimes, and sometimes that follows them into the group, and so they can get really nervous. We've had kids get extremely nervous about this particular step, like just kind of, really just, I don't want to do this, I'm really scared, really kind of getting very, very agitated about it. Very rarely, but once in a while, even have had kids at this particular stage, when we found them a friend, leave the program because they simply can't take that step, those are the ones that keep us up at night, because we are in the friend business. This is what we do, and this is what jazzes us up. So when that happens, it's really sad, and we feel it's unfortunate that we are not able to kind of bring that child back. Usually when that happens, though, it's because a parent unknowingly might try to force the child into the friendship. And if that happens, it can really spook them and get them really scared. So there's different steps that we take to support them during this time. So let me go over the ways that we support them. So one of the ways that we support children and teens as they're starting to make that step outside of the program and socialize kind of out in the real world is to work a bit with the families, because unless they're driving on their own, there's going to be some coordination with the family. And honestly, sometimes that can be a really difficult step. It's like a herding cat sometimes. Everyone's super busy, and being able to kind of get everybody on the same page, and we need permission to share contact information if we're going through the parents and all of that. There's kind of some steps to take there. And so that can be a little bit tricky, but we do want to make sure that we're able to kind of get past that step to at least organize the time. And then we need to deal with the anxiety. So before the kids go and they interact with each other in this other setting, we want to make sure that we're giving them the scaffolding and the help regarding that anxiety in order for that interaction to be the most successful. One of the ways that we make sure that that interaction is really successful is to remind kids that your past does not equal your future. So whatever might have happened in the past does not mean that that's going to happen in the future. A lot of kids hold on to that stuff, and they need to know that we're going to leave it in our rear view, and we're going to move forward to this new friendship. And it may or may not work out. I'm not going to guarantee to somebody that this friendship is going to be awesome for them. It may not be. It may go badly for all I know. But it doesn't necessarily mean it's going to go badly. We need to give it a try, because that going out there and being a little bit vulnerable is a really important part of friendship, right? You need to be able to take those risks in order to achieve friendship. It's a necessary step. So we want to make sure that they understand their past is not their future. Also want them to know that, this is a one-time thing. They don't need to be besties if they're not. Like, they go and they do this one time. If they have a great time, awesome. If they don't have to see that person again if they choose not to. I mean, it's just something that they're trying, and I'm sure the other person's trying them out, and it's kind of a two-way street, but it's not something they have to make any big commitment to. They can go do their thing together, and then they can leave and decide if they want to do it again. When you give somebody an out, anybody who has anxiety, if you can give them an out and say, if it's not fun for you and you didn't enjoy it, or there was parts of it that you didn't like, you don't have to go and hang out with that person again. You just have this one experience. If it works out great, then you'll want to follow up, and that's a whole other step. But we do want them to at least do it the one time. Usually, if you can give kids a little bit of an out, they're going to come into it with a slightly more positive attitude, because you've given them that, oh, okay, you're not going to make me hang out with this kid all the time. I guess I can give it this one go. Assuming that it all goes well and it's not just a one and done and they want to get together again, that's another point where they might need some support. So they might need some support to organize it. Sometimes what happens is you'll find that one particular family is always asking the other family to hang out. And what will happen with that, if that continues in that one-way direction, is that other child, or even the parents, might think, oh, I'm not sure this other kid really wants to hang out anymore. Maybe it didn't go as well for them, and they might shy away and stop asking. So we do want to try to make sure that if you're asked, even a couple of times, that then you do the asking if you do want to keep hanging out with that particular person. So it kind of works both ways. If both kids are in a program, which in this scenario I'm describing you to, they would be, what we would also encourage is that if anything happens that's sticky socially with either of the participants in this social gathering, that they let us know, because that's the type of thing that we can coach on and teach on without saying it specifically to that child. It kind of depends, or your teen. Sometimes we can go ahead and address it straight up with that person. It all depends on their personality. We're pretty good at reading that. But if not, we'll just make that be a big general lesson for the next time they're in group, so that we kind of mask whatever happened when they had their get together. We can address that in the next social group, so that we're able to get at all the things that might make the friendship not last. But we have had many, many very long-lasting friendships happen at Simply Social Kids. We've had best friends happen at Simply Social Kids. It happens quite frequently, and it's really awesome when it does. And sometimes I'm even surprised where I'll talk to somebody who is still, interacting with somebody who might have left the program several years ago, and that friendship has lasted. So it does work really well in that way. So if you think that you might need some help with your child or teen, if they're having some trouble connecting, if you wanted to schedule an intake with us, we'll see if our program is right for you. That'd be great. If you like this video, I hope you did. Please hit the like button and hit subscribe if you'd like to hear more from us, and we'll see you next time.